Hello, everyone, and welcome back to season 2 of Pitching It with Ben. I know it's been a little while since I last released an episode back in season 1, but I'm super excited to be back in the studio recording podcast episodes. I am thrilled, quite honestly. There's no other words to put it. I have such a great lineup of guests recorded, scheduled, looking ahead. I have LPGA Tour players, Symetra Tour players, NCAA champions, Olympians. I mean, the list goes on and on. I am so excited to share these incredible stories from the world of women's golf. And for the first episode of season 2, I am joined by none other than Bianca Pagdanganan. She's in her third season on the LPGA Tour, but technically it's her second season on the LPGA Tour. It's a little bit confusing, but the pandemic made things confusing for just about all of us. So what a great conversation I had with Bianca, talking about her roots growing up in the Philippines and what golf was like there. Actually, like, fun fact, she was the only golfer at her high school, which was pretty remarkable to me. Talk about her college career, very successful college career. Talk about LPGA Q-Series, what it was like going through that 2 times now. What she's learned playing on the LPGA Tour, the run she made at the 2020 KPMG Women's PGA Championship, what she's looking forward to, talk about TikTok, talk about a lot of other fun things. She's just such a great person to talk to and spend some time with. And yeah, without further ado, this is episode 1 of season 2. So I am back after a little bit of a hiatus with season 2 of Pitching It with Ben. And I am super excited to be joined by LPGA Tour member, Olympian, NCAA National Champion, Bianca Pagdanganan.
That was good job, Ben. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. That's so weird. I'm so used to people saying like LPGA Tour rookie, and you just said tour player.
That's right.
That's kind of weird.
Because you are, and you also, because you're one of the unique. You're one of the unique ones.
Yeah.
You were like a double rookie.
Yeah, exactly. It's like my second year, technically my third.
It's like you got a red shirt.
Yeah, basically. It's so weird. People are like, so it's your second year on tour. I'm like, no, because 2020 didn't count. So technically 21 is my rookie year. They were like, oh, okay. And I'm like, yeah, COVID. I mean, it is what it is. It's not like I can do anything about it. So we're just going to have to go with it.
Yeah. And it's so wild because, so on the one hand, it was really cool. I think what Commissioner Juan at the time, what he did when they found out they weren't going to have Q-Series or Q-School for 2020. So they're like, okay, hey, the pandemic, this is a crazy set of circumstances. Hopefully we never, ever see it again. Mm-hmm. But everyone that has earned status for 2020, like, you'll keep that exact same status heading into 2021.
Yeah.
On the flip side, it was very difficult to gain any like better status. But I remember, I'm trying to remember exactly how that worked out. But I feel like if you didn't win, essentially, it was difficult to gain status at all or improve your stats for 2021, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I played well in 2020. And that was the year that we still went off of money list standings. And I finished like 60th on the money list. And then heading into 2021, obviously it was like frustrating, but then at the same time, it was like, I guess it was nice heading into my actual rookie year with experience. So I didn't completely feel like a rookie. At least some of the courses that I was going to play, I had already seen. So, you just kind of have to look at it from like a different perspective. I mean, obviously it sucked, but I mean, they had to do what they had to do, keep everyone safe. You couldn't force people to play if they were uncomfortable, during the pandemic. So, I mean, it was just a crazy year. So I just had to like kind of deal with what I had.
Yeah. So actually we can start there. I'll come back to some of the first questions that I had, but since we're already on this topic, like, so you went to Q-Series 2019, you gained some status for 2020.
Yeah.
It was not full status, but you did have status. So you became LPGA Tour rookie for 2020. Heading into that season, what was like
Did you go back to the Philippines after Q-Series, or did you stay here in the US?
When was this? 2019, right?
Yes.
Q-Series. What was that? How many years ago was that? I don't even remember. See, it's like so hard to keep track.
Yeah.
I did go home. I think I went home after. I tried to go home for the holidays at least. So I went home. Yeah, I did go home because that was the year. I remember now. So I didn't turn pro right away because there was this big amateur event that they wanted me to play in. So I kept my amateur status after Q-Series because it was the Southeast Asian Games and the Philippines was hosting it. So I mean, it was kind of a big deal, and it was nice because my family and like all of my friends were able to watch me play like my last amateur event, and I won double gold. So I was like, that's a good way to end my amateur career.
Heck yeah.
So I won as an individual and then we won as a team. But I remember it was so nice because my friends never really watch me play golf because they're always so busy, or like my tournaments are out of the country. So I mean, what better way to finish my amateur career than, being surrounded by the people that I love and, who've supported me for the longest time. But that I finally remember that I did go home.
Yeah,
I was like kind of frustrated because I was like, I was already playing mini tour events just to like get ready for Q-Series.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, since I was an amateur, I was like, oh, I can't accept like any of the money. And I was playing so well. So I was like, oh, it's fine. Like, you're going to be playing for the country after this tournament. So that's important. So I was like, okay, it's fine. At least like I know I'll be prepared for, Q-Series and the tournaments that come after it.
Yeah. So, and I'm flashing back now. So I remember talking to so many players during that time because it was the strangest time. Like that first, I don't know, like 6 months after things kind of shut down. It's like,
yeah,
what do you do? So do you remember where you were at? Like what was going on? Do you remember where you're going to start your season in 2020?
So I remember I actually flew to Australia in January because I wanted to play the Monday for the 2 Australia events. And then when did everything go down? Like March, I think.
Right at the
and then
like
I
first week of
didn't
March.
I didn't really know when I was going to start, but basing it off of like the numbers from the previous years, I would have started in probably Hawaii.
Okay.
And obviously, like everything just started to get like canceled, and then I was watching the news and everything was just going crazy. So I was like, what's going to happen? And then eventually, I got the emails regarding the tournament. I was like, oh my goodness, like, am I ever going to be able to play this year? But when everything went down, I was in San Diego. So it was really stressful because it's like not knowing when I was going to start. I'm like, in my head, I was like, I just have to be prepared for anything. And then eventually we didn't start playing till like July.
Yeah, it was like July. So
yeah.
What did you, so a lot of us picked up, I'm not including, when I say us, I'm not including me in the professional golf world, but like people in general, we had to come up with different like things to do.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you do in that downtime? Or downtime?
My downtime. I feel like I worked out a little bit more. I noticed that I was like, I have to do something. It's like everyone's dealing with the same thing, but it's like people are trying to maximize the time that they have, or they're just trying to do everything they can to be prepared. So I like started to work out more because I'm not gonna lie, like before Q-Series, I wasn't really like working out. I think I was just like playing golf consistently, like every day, but then not really focusing on the other aspect of like being physically and mentally in shape. So I feel like I worked out more. And then Call of Duty on my phone. But then I like calligraphy, like, like writing with brush pens.
Yeah.
So I'd like go to the backyard, just kind of chill and just draw and write. Like I'm not really that good, but it's like I need something to do that doesn't involve like technology, just so I don't get a headache from just staring at my phone, my laptop. It's those are probably like the things that I during the lockdown.
Lockdown time.
Yeah.
Have you kept up with that at all? Calligraphy?
I do it from time to time, like when I'm home. So, because like my brush pens come in like a big box, and obviously it's really hard to travel because they're supposed to be kept like upright. But basically, like you can't just like leave them lying down because the ink and all that will
Right.
spill over. So I can't really travel with it unless I get like a special like box for those things. But
Yeah.
I do try to just do it from time to time. I do have an iPad now, so it's like I have an Apple Pen, so I can just write on it. But it's just different, like writing on paper and just
Yeah.
feeling how smooth it goes on the. Yeah, that's like it sounds weird, but it's just relaxing for me. Just like writing stuff down. Like it could be anything. I could look up like a random coat or any of my favorite coats and I like write it down and then blend it with other colors. It's just fun.
I love that. That's awesome.
So
okay. I wanna flash back in time to young Bianca.
Oh gosh. All right. How young?
Like when you started playing golf, that young Bianca. When did you start playing golf?
I started when I was 7 years old. That's
7.
Yeah. I remember joining like a youth camp back home with my sister. And so we both started at the same time, but then she stopped playing after a couple of years. Not even a couple, probably like after 2 years.
Is that
She's like, I'm over it.
Older sister?
Yeah, I have an older sister.
Okay.
And brother, but my brother never really played.
So yeah, that's interesting. I was going to ask, I'm not so sure if you struggled to think back to 2019 and you're already calling me old, but some of your earliest memories playing golf or those first trips out to the golf course or to the driving range or what are some of them? What comes to mind?
So every time my sister and I would go to the driving range with my dad, I think this is like a core memory just because like I remember it happening so often. But my sister and I would go to the range, and then once we get in the car, once we're about to leave, I asked my dad like, what was the longest I hit it? I remember asking him that. And then he'd be like, oh, like you hit it 75 yards. I'm like, okay. So in the Philippines, like if you have an older sister, you call her ate, and then her name's Ines. I was like, what about Ate Ines? Like, what did she hit? What was the farthest? And he was like, I think she hit it like over 100. And I was like, when am I ever going to get to the 3 digits? So that's like one memory that I have, or one memory that I probably won't ever forget, just because I feel like my dad was just making up numbers. He probably just said that I hit it 100 just so I would stop asking.
Like
but
you
like,
made it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, all right, you got to stop asking. And then I have so many memories growing up. Like, I remember this, but I don't remember 2019. But
that's okay. To be fair, there's a lot going on, and then a lot like really going on.
Especially like within the last 2-3 years, it's so hard to like just remember what happened when, just because I don't know, it's just crazy. But I guess another memory would be like after going to the driving range, there was like a food stall in the range that sold mango shakes back home, and they're just fresh. So that's like one of the things I remember. But I mean, obviously golf wise, like I played a lot with my dad. I know I'm remembering the food part of it, but I don't know. I just went to the driving range a lot with my dad when I wasn't even like playing golf yet. And I'd watch him hit it. And I was like, how does he hit it so far? Like he'd hit his driver and it would go on forever. And then I started playing. And then after a couple of years, I started hitting it further than he did. So I was like, oh, maybe he didn't hit it that far. It just looked like he did.
So you're saying by age 9, you were hitting it further than your dad?
Okay, maybe like not when I was 9. Probably when I was like, no, I wish, but probably when I was like 14, 15. Because when I started playing, my dad stopped playing. So it's not like he was able to maintain that distance, you know? It's not like he worked out. My dad just like watched me play, tried to coach. Yeah. He did a lot of those stuff. So it's not like
I love that.
Being a single handicapper. So
yeah. Also, what I find very interesting is that you've already given like multiple examples of hitting it far or the desire to hit it far, and then you actually do hit it really far. Like,
it's just so funny. Yeah, looking back, I was just like, is that what like drew me towards the game? Like watching my dad and seeing it, like seeing how far he hit it. I don't know. There was just like a huge influence because my dad would
yeah,
like rip drivers, and I found it so amazing, like how the ball would. Because obviously, like we'd go to the range at night, and then the lights were on, so I'd just see how like the ball would just disappear. I'm like, how far does that go? So now that you mentioned it, that was yeah. I have
yeah.
given a couple examples about distance. Oh,
Well,
God.
it's just interesting. Like, how would your trajectory in golf have been if you didn't have that older sister who went there with you, and you were actively thinking about trying to catch her? Like, am I hitting as far as her, or did I hit it further than her?
Yeah.
And then you progress to like your dad, and then also like you said, the ball disappearing and like into the dark. I can see that. Like,
Yeah.
it gives the illusion that he's hitting it like forever. Like
Exactly. It's like, has it gone down yet? Is it still flying?
if I was
So
if I was a parent in that situation, I think I was just like, yeah, it's still going. It's still like, I don't know when it's
yes.
gonna come down. It landed outside of the driving range.
Mhm.
I love that. What is the golf scene like in the Philippines? Because we hear, especially like in Asia, Southeast Asia, of course, we know a lot like Korea and
Mhm.
Japan and Thailand. The Philippines hasn't necessarily been like super high
Yeah.
on the radar. Like, you're one
Mhm.
of the biggest names coming out of the Philippines. What is the golf scene? What was it like when you were growing up?
Growing up, there weren't really a lot of. I remember like there weren't a lot of female golfers. So I grew up playing around guys. So most of my golf friends are guys, and it's just I guess that's how I also got really competitive. Just because like the guys I played with, they were always playing for games like food or I guess like a little bit of money. Not that we
Uh-huh.
had a lot, but it's not like I joined them. It's just like watching
Yeah.
them and seeing like how they would practice. So I was like, okay, I guess. But yeah, I don't remember having a lot of girlfriends playing golf growing up until I got to like a certain age and then more people started playing. But I did like have a couple of golfers that I looked up to. Like obviously there was Jennifer Rosales or like Dorothy DeLassen. And I mean, I always dreamt of like, oh, maybe one day we can add to the list of like Filipino golfers playing out on tour. But I don't know, I guess looking at it now, I'm really happy to see like how much girls or just honestly junior golfers in general are like starting to pick up the sport. And I'm like a little bit jealous. I was like, I wish I kind of had that growing up. Like they just it's so fun like watching them. And honestly, that's a good thing because it's like especially like once I like graduated from junior golf, like what they say, it's like you want to leave it better than you found it. So like you don't want these kids going through what you went through. Like you want them to have a better experience just so they enjoy it more. So I think seeing it now, it just I just feel so happy just seeing how many kids have picked up the sport. I mean, not just the fact that you can gain more friends. It's like the lessons that you learn out there playing. And I mean, I have a lot of there are a lot of Filipinos actually playing college golf right now, and obviously I'm hoping that they take the route of turning professional. So I feel like there are more golfers to look up to now. So that's a good thing. At least like the kids back home have people to look up to, and it's just also really nice to have that representation out on tour. Once they see that, oh, there's another person like me out there, that means like it gives them hope knowing that they can reach that goal too. I mean, we just had Yuko win the US Open last year, and I feel like that definitely like changed the world of Philippine golf, only being like the second Filipino to win a title and the first to win a major. So I think the fact that it gives kids hope is just, for me, it's just really fulfilling. And obviously, like you want more people to play golf. It's a fun sport.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a great summary. On a personal note, I'm curious about. I haven't been to the Philippines, but I'm somewhat aware of like the geography being made up of so many islands.
Mhm.
So how does that affect like traveling uh for golf, like golf tournaments, or what is that like?
I feel like most of the golf tournaments are in Manila, so I don't really have to fly to other um places in the Philippines. So the Philippines has like three main islands: Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. So Manila is in Luzon, and obviously, like there are a lot of other golfers in Visayas and Mindanao, but most of the junior golfers are based in Manila. I mean, it's a good thing that I don't really have to travel, but at the same time, it's like, how are you going to grow the sport if you're not going to have it like in any other locations in the Philippines? Like, it's also really expensive to fly to Manila, like book hotels, try to find a car that you can rent. So, I mean, for me, I didn't really have it that hard, which I guess I'm very lucky to have experienced. But I did have friends from the other places in the Philippines who'd have to fly. I'm like, I don't think I could imagine like having to fly just for like one tournament. It was, yeah. So
Like,
it was a strange thing. I feel like we could have done, I think we could have hosted. I mean, obviously, like you said, we have so many places we have a lot of islands, okay, but we have a lot of other courses that we could probably host events at. But yeah, they're just mostly based in Manila because that's where most of the golfers are.
I got you. So in the Philippines, what is the most popular sport? And did you play any other sports growing up?
Most popular sport is basketball.
Basketball.
Yeah, for a country with an average height of 5'7". I'm kidding.
Oh my gosh.
No, I'm kidding. But no, but I mean, I did play other sports growing up. Like in school, I played a lot of different sports. I love playing sports. Like I could probably pick up any sport and just enjoy. I played basketball, ultimate frisbee, and like obviously for PE, we had to do like other sports. So we had to play like softball, swimming, soccer, or football. We call it football because you use your foot.
Hey,
I had to just clarify that. I was like, yeah, we don't have American football in the Philippines. It's just football, like the actual, where you use your foot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey,
so
look,
anyway.
to be fair, there's a lot of things in the US I disagree with, and there's like that it's like I try to clarify that too. Like getting to know so many people around the world, I always have to say make sure I say like American football, like separate it, because I know like it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I do get it. Football is useless to your feet. Yeah.
But I feel like I wasn't good at basketball, but I did enjoy it. But I think throughout high school, I really enjoyed ultimate frisbee, which is kind of funny because it was such a fast-paced sport, complete opposite of golf. So I feel like it did kind of mess up my swing a little bit, like just very, very minimal, because I had to use my wrist a lot for like tossing the disc. Like I like throwing it this way. So I remember playing it like every Friday, and then I'd have to practice afterwards. And then my dad would just be like, why are you cocking your wrist so much? I'm like, I just played ultimate frisbee. I'm sorry.
Interesting. I wonder. So you hear about the other sports like baseball, softball, tennis, the other like swinging sports, hockey. In some ways it transitions to golf pretty well. In some ways it doesn't. That's the first time I've heard ultimate frisbee becoming
it's just like the way.
But it makes
funny
sense.
because like I had to cock my wrist a lot. So my coach actually told me, like, why don't you try doing it with your left? And I was like, that's my non-dominant hand. Like I'm gonna throw it. It's not gonna go anywhere. Like I was like, just try, because at least like I don't even remember which one is the backhand and the forehand. But like anyway, so this oh my god, this is so embarrassing. I don't even remember what it was called. But if you want to throw it with your right this way, try it with your left, since it's like a similar movement.
Right.
I can't do that. I'm too competitive to try something new. I'm so stressed.
That takes too much work to get good. Like I want to be able to like compete when I'm out on the playing field. Yeah, I got you. I understand.
I can't coach. I got to put me first.
What age is this? Like high school?
Yeah, this is high school. Yeah.
That's so funny.
All 4 years. I loved it. It was so fun for some reason. Like I hate cardio. I hate like just running as exercise, but I loved ultimate frisbee, like running back and forth, chasing a disc. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've
contact
seen
too. So
it's non-contact most of the
yeah,
time.
yeah. Because if anyone touches you or whatever, you could just be like, "She touched me." That's a foul.
So this is a good transition point to your college career. So you started out playing at Gonzaga. So I guess first of all, can you talk about like this process of playing golf in the Philippines and then choosing, how did you end up at Gonzaga?
So I actually didn't really have a whole lot of schools recruiting me out of high school just because I didn't really play a whole lot of events out here. I feel like if you really want to be seen by a lot of coaches, you need to play like a lot of like AJGA events. But like being in a regular school back home, so we started school in June and then we finish in, I think it's March. I don't even remember. But we started in June, so obviously that's like summer here, and that's when all the tournaments are. And the one tournament that I tried to play every year was the Junior World event in San Diego. So I'd missed school for like 3 weeks, and that was
Mm,
like the most I could do. Because like if I tried playing any other events, I'd miss more days of school, and it'd be so hard to like catch up on everything. That's why I think I was like kind of under the radar, and I wasn't really like one of the top junior golfers. Like growing up,
yeah.
like I was like mediocre, like barely finished in the top three. Like I'm just out there playing basically. So
I also feel like whenever you're a player, like whenever your sport is not necessarily like this, the most popular big thing, it's hard for teachers to give more leeway, or
yeah,
schools. Because I've seen
yeah.
that here for sure. Like some sports, American football players or basketball players or whatever sport, like I've
Mm,
seen the star athletes get like, yeah, you can
yeah,
go take all these visits or go play in these tournaments
yeah.
and stuff. So yeah.
And like I remember in my school, I was like the only golfer. Like literally, I was the only one who played like competitive golf. So it was hard to like let teachers know that I'd be missing so much school. But there was actually another Filipino at Gonzaga's team, and I feel like, and I mean, basing it off of all the other offers and like trying to compare the programs, which one I would fit in best. Like Gonzaga was really like the best fit at that time. It was like it's a Jesuit school, and obviously like the Philippines being like a very Catholic country. I feel like my parents were like, okay, it won't be so bad, receiving Jesuit education. So,
Right.
but I mean, aside from the fact that I already knew someone on the team, it was a good school, and I mean, they had a good basketball program, so at least that they do pay attention to athletics. So I was like, okay, fine, let's go to Gonzaga. I didn't even go on a visit or whatsoever. Like I was just basing it off of the pictures that my friend would send me. I was like, okay, fine, I'll just go. So it was just weird being a tropical person and then going to like Washington State where it's like cold. So I think the hardest part was just trying to practice in the winter, like being indoors. That was like, I think the hardest thing for me. I'm like, I'm so used to being outside, playing golf outside, hitting grass like year round. And here I am hitting off of a mat into a screen where I can't even see my ball fly. It was
Yeah.
cold.
It was cold.
It was cold.
So wait, just to clarify, you chose Gonzaga, and then your like move-in day was the first time you saw campus.
Yeah, basically.
Oh my goodness.
I did like campus though. I was like, this is really nice. Like they had some like old buildings, and then my first year there, that was when like one of the like there was a building that just opened up, and that was where the dining hall was, and we had Starbucks, like a bunch of other stuff in there. So I was like, oh, that's cool. So it was like a complete surprise. And my friend was sending me pictures, so I was like, okay, at least I kind of know what it looks like, what to
Yeah.
expect.
Yeah.
So
And you have it's nice to have some like, you trust her, someone that like, okay, we're not gonna
yeah,
get me into a complete strange situation.
yeah, exactly. It's not like it was obviously hard for my parents, like sending their child, across the world.
Yeah.
So at least it was nice knowing that there was someone I knew. So there was like a sense of comfort for them too.
Yeah, for sure. So then after 2 years there, transferred to Arizona,
hmm
and some really awesome things happened while you were there. But first of all, like, what are some of the memories that come to mind when you think back to that time at Arizona? Besides, other than the big one that I'm going to touch on in a minute.
Arizona. I think what really stands out was like I remember the culture shock, the difference in like Gonzaga and Arizona, because Gonzaga is such a small school compared to Arizona. So I remember my first class. I walk into this like auditorium and there were like 200 students, and I was like, wait, am I in the right classroom, or is there like some, I don't know, is someone having a talk over here? Like, are we having a TED talk, or
Right.
am I in the right place? And then I checked my phone, my schedule, and I was like, I am in the right place. And it was just like, at least like I had a teammate in that class. But holy smokes, like seeing 200 people, the biggest class I had in Gonzaga had 34 students. And that was them pushing it.
Yeah.
It's like, this is like over our limit. We don't usually have this much people in the classrooms. I was like, imagine having 200. And that was like one of the craziest things, honestly. And I don't know, like Arizona is just completely different. I like Washington. I like the trees. So like suddenly heading into the desert, I was like, where are the evergreen trees? Where's everything? It was just like just a complete culture. So, but it was fun. I had a lot of fun with my coaches and my teammates.
Yeah, so it's funny because you did not enjoy the cold of Washington.
Yeah.
Arizona is one of those places. It's not tropical. It's not a tropical
dry.
climate, but it is at least warm to hot.
Yeah.
At least usually when the sun's out. I know during daytime, nighttime can sometimes get pretty chilly, but yeah. So 2018 NCAA champion. That is you forever in the history books.
Hey.
When you think back to that time, what do you remember about that season, that year? Because I'm just looking at players on those college teams, including in that national finals against Alabama. Like, there's so many not just professional golfers, which a lot of you are, but like LPGA Tour players. Like, it was some stacked teams. But what do you remember about that season as a whole, and then securing that national championship?
Yeah, so that was my first season with Arizona, and honestly, like, it was definitely a more competitive team. I didn't really know what to expect, like, heading into the year. It's like, okay, it's my first year, like, it's definitely going to be more competitive. I'm going to have to push myself to do better because that's what everyone else is trying to do. So it's like, okay, as long as I do my part, like, obviously we'll probably have a good season, because my goal has always been to like go to nationals as a team. Because my first 2 years at Gonzaga, I went to regionals and nationals as an individual, and it was like, it was fun, but it's sad at the same time because you look around and see everyone with their teams, and I was like, I have no one. Like, I have my coaches, but I don't have my team. So I was like, I really want to go with a team. So I actually won my first event in Arizona. My first event, I was a co-champion with I was a co-champion with Andrea Lee. So
wow.
I know, but it was just like, it was different just because like we were playing tournaments with really good teams. So I think that's how I was able to improve my game a little bit more. I feel like you're just exposed to the top amateurs when you're playing these events. So there's really nowhere to go but like, nowhere to go but up. You're really trying to play better, trying to get at their level. Because like while you're playing with them, you also learn from these other players. So you're just like, okay, what can I do to, try to, be better than who I am now? So I think that was like really fun, but I just had like, it was just a weird year. I don't know. I just didn't know what to expect. Like, I knew I had a really good team. I was like, okay, I feel like there was a little bit of pressure. It's like, okay, I need to contribute. Like, I need to do this, this, and this. But at the same time, it's just like, you really shouldn't try to prove anything. because you made it to the team, like you qualified for your spot. So what else are you trying to prove? You're just trying to play your own game out here. And then we played regionals in Florida. Yeah, in Florida State. And then we made it through. And then at nationals, we played Karsten Creek. That's a tough course. I'm not gonna lie, it was a really tough course, but it was a lot of fun. I honestly kind of remember it clearly still. One thing, I don't know if a lot of people know, but we actually had a water gun fight with one of the teams. We got sabotaged by one of the teams. Yeah, I remember we were driving back from our practice round, and then the coaches texted us. They're like, all right, we'll be waiting in the van. But then since they were setting up for nationals, there was this we got stuck behind a truck in the middle of the golf course because he was trying to bring, I don't know, a porta potty out there, but we just kind of got stuck behind him. So it took us forever to get to the van. And then as soon as we get to the van, the other team showed up with literally water guns and water bottles, and were just spraying us with cold water. And I was and the coaches knew.
Your
they
coaches
were part of
knew?
the plan. Yeah, they totally knew. All they texted us was, "Get your water bottles ready," and I was like,
"Huh?
What?" And sure enough, that happened. It was Washington. They just attacked us.
Oh, Washington.
Yeah, but it was fun. It was Julianne's team, and yeah, all of them. So
Julianne, of course.
And then we won nationals.
And then you won nationals.
I think that was it. That was a good luck charm.
Maybe your coaches knew, let's just loosen us up. Let's
honestly, they probably knew that we were stressed heading into nationals, but it was fun.
Whose idea it was for that? Was it Washington's idea, or did your coaches hey, you guys want to
It was Washington's idea. They just told our coaches, but my coaches were chill, so they were okay with that. They're like, yeah, sure.
We'll even help you.
They took videos of us. I'm like, thanks. It was fun though. It's something you don't really expect from a college tournament. I'm like,
yeah.
Out of nowhere, literally. We get to the van and they hop off. And whatever.
That's awesome. Was there any plans to get them back, or did you just get soaked and that was that?
My water bottle had it was half full, not half empty. It was half full, so I was like, okay, I guess I'll just try to spray them with some water if I get it to anyone. But I don't know, looking back, what you said, it's crazy how stacked these teams were, and seeing the girls I played with in college play on the professional level. I think it's really cool. I mean, obviously, at least heading into the LPGA, I already know a few other people. Yeah. It's not I'm completely heading in with no friends, but
right.
It's nice knowing people out there.
Yeah, and you're getting the opportunity to, as get ready to shift to your professional career. But speaking of Arizona, getting to see Vivian and Yusang come join you,
yep.
Arizona family's growing out there on the LPGA. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it is, especially because Yusung's one of my best friends. We spent so much time together in college. It's crazy. We know each other pretty well, just because that's how much time we spent together. We roomed a lot during tournaments.
Yeah.
I would always crash her place, so it's really nice, and I've always been looking forward to it. I'm I can't wait for you to join me out here. I need more friends. Okay. But I mean, I'm happy for the both of them. It's not often that you see two sisters go through Q school and make it all the way. So that's exciting. It's nice to see some familiar faces.
Yeah. So finish up there, Arizona. You go to Q-Series 2019. We talked about it a little bit. You finished tied 38th, which gained you that partial status for 2020. And you did remain an amateur. You were still an amateur at that time. So was that event the Southeast Asia Games?
Yeah, Southeast Asian
Was
Games.
that after Q-Series?
Yeah, it was. When was it? I think it was around the last week of November. It's the first week of December, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. it was quite the experience. I remember having to take a break after Q-Series because of like how everything was so, because I remember the transition from second to third stage was like 2 days. Like I remember flying out right after the last round, and then it was just a lot of golf within a span of like how many days. So on the last round of Q-Series, I had like this really bad back pain. It was super cold too. And I was a bit worried because it was like a pain that I've never felt in my back before. So I was like, what's going on? Like I was honestly worried because I remember shooting like 6 over that day. That's why I went down to like tie 37. And I couldn't like swing properly. It was bothering me so much. I was like, am I going to be able to finish 18 holes? I was like just trying to power through that final round. So right after Q Series, I met up with my trainer from Arizona. Since I had to take one more, I had like one class left. And he was like, you're probably just like really tight. Your body's just really tired from all the golf you've played. I had to take a break. He was like, you're not supposed to like the Southeast Asian games without practicing. It's like, well, it's either that or like the pain gets worse. Like I literally didn't hold a club for like 3 weeks, and then I had to like start playing the practice rounds as soon as I got home. I was
Wow.
I was so worried.
Did that pain, did it go away? Like, was it gone by the time
It did though. It did. So I had it checked, and apparently like with all the walking, the cold weather, my body was just tight at that point. That's why the pain like spread up to my back.
That's
See, that's like
Sheesh.
it. Like I was worried because I thought it was going to be like something more serious, but knowing that like it could have gone away if I just like stretched it out or whatsoever. I mean, I was stretching, but it's just like I guess I wasn't stretching enough. I don't know.
Well, I feel like you also like you don't know how far to push certain things.
Yeah, exactly.
And like if I push it further, it's either going to help or it can make it worse.
Worse, exactly. Yeah. So
and the idea of making it worse is like
it's like the last thing I want to think about.
Last resort. Yeah. So thinking, and we'll talk about 2021 Q Series. I'm really excited to talk about that one because I was there. But can you talk about the differences between the two? Because I wasn't there in 2019. However, I am very much aware of like temperature difference for one, and like score difference if you look like
yeah
the score. So what are the big differences you noticed?
Okay, yeah. One, the temperature, it was freezing in North Carolina in 2019. It was like 34 degrees. How am I gonna feel my fingers? Like how am I? It was bad just because like every time like if you hit a bad shot, if you hit it thin, like it rings through your whole body. It starts with your fingers, and then they're so cold, so it affects your whole body. But I mean, I'm trying to remember the courses in Pinehurst. I feel like they were a little bit tougher. Just a little bit, just a hair. I feel like the courses in Alabama were still challenging, but I feel like they had a little bit more difficulty just in terms of like I didn't think I was able to maximize my distance that much. I feel like I couldn't really cut any corners on dog legs. Like I had to play it like how everyone was playing it. Like I couldn't overpower the course or I would have just made it worse for me. So I think that's like one of the differences. But I think heading into like the 2021 Q Series, it was nice that like I knew what to expect. Because heading into like I remember in 2019, I did not understand how Q school like worked. Like people would ask me, especially before first stage, like, how does it work? And I was like, honestly, I have no idea. I know there's a cut and I'm trying to make it to second stage and third stage. You know, we're just taking it stage by stage, literally.
Right.
But I didn't in Q Series, I didn't really think about like my like where I finished and how that would affect my spot on the priority list. So I just played on like at Q Series in 2019, not knowing where I wanted to finish whatsoever. It's like I'm in Q Series, I'm just gonna play my best golf. That's basically it. But then heading into 2021, I had 2021, right? That was last year.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's weird. I had goals for myself. I was like, okay, I knew what to expect heading into the Q Series. I was like, oh, I want to finish within like top 15 at most, just so I know I can give myself good status. And obviously, it did not look great after my first round. I was honestly so stressed heading into Q-Series. I don't think people understand like how much it affects you, like physically and mentally. Like trying to stay at like the highest point of your game, or like at your, you just have to be in shape for 8 competitive rounds. Like that is hard. And I didn't really tell anyone this, but like every time I get stressed, and I noticed this growing up, every time I would get stressed over like a big event, I would actually like get a fever the night before, or like I'd get chills just for like the night, and then I'd wake up okay.
Yeah.
The night before like my last practice round, I feel like, or the night before one of the practice rounds, my stress took a toll on me. Like I had chills, and I was just like, I can't be sick right now. And then my parents are like, are you okay? You have to let us know if you feel anything else, like any other symptoms. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's not COVID. I literally don't feel anything. It's like I had the chills. I was so stressed. And then they're like, okay, here, just take some medicine. And it just gave me so many flashbacks because it's happened so many times when I was a kid growing up.
Really?
Yeah, I remember it happened like a couple times. And I was like, seriously, right now? So looking back, I was just like, wow, I stressed over like not nothing, because 8 days of golf is nothing, but it's just like the amount of pressure that I put on myself, just kind of the effects kind of showed, the negative effects just showed.
Right.
But it's, like I said, heading into Q-Series, knowing what to expect and where I wanted to finish, I feel like really helped a lot. And knowing that I finished, like after I made my last putt on the last hole, I was like, I didn't know because the scoreboards were down. So I was like, wait, the scores haven't changed. And it's the same people. It's like, oh gosh, like where am I in the tournament? So I was like checking my scores, and then I saw Megan, and she was like, how many unders did you finish? It's like, I don't know. And she was like, last time I checked, you were like tied 9th. I was like, 9th? Oh my gosh. So I was like, it was just like, it was such a relief, like hearing that from Megan.
Yes.
Oh, thank God.
See, and being there, I got to see all this. I got to see players, all of you, like there's different approaches to it. Like everyone has their own comfort levels, what they like to do to prepare. That first week in Mobile, like the courses were long. I feel like they were like,
Balls and crossings.
Yes.
They're 2 completely different courses. It was ridiculous.
So of course, like I understand, and also like the stress level. As I was talking to some people that I know, just talking about my week there, like even my parents, it's like it's not a major championship, but in a lot of ways, like the pressure though, it's like the whole year. It's your entire job and profession for the next year.
Exactly.
So it's like, am I going to be on the LPGA Tour, or am I going to be on the Symetra Tour, or I'm going to have to think of other options? You're like, so there's maybe even more stress. Like, what do you
There's just
think?
a lot of, exactly, stress and expect. There's just so much pressure to want to play well. And I think the hardest part about that week is like knowing that you have so much golf to play. So like my approach, I tried not to like over practice. I mean, it's not like I practice a whole lot like after a round, but it's like you have to think about the energy that you have to conserve for like the next week. And it was like hard. It's like you want to practice enough, but not too much to kind of tire yourself out. So that was kind of my approach. So obviously I tried to maximize my time on the course, like hitting a couple of shots, trying to just making the most out of my time out there, just so, after the round, I assess what I have to work on, or like if I have to practice any shots that, I want to practice. So I think that's kind of how I tried to approach it. Like I wasn't out there grinding like 3 buckets right after a 5-hour practice round. It's like, it's just not ideal. Like,
Right.
I tell my dad and my caddy, I was just like, okay, like this is just what I want to do. I'll probably putt for a bit. I'll do some short game and then I'm out. And they're like, it's okay. Like it's understandable just because like we already know like how much golf we're going to expect. So But I feel like my mindset wasn't really completely different than anyone else. There was definitely a lot of pressure because, like you said, it was my job on the line. Like it was like where I'd be for the next year. So it was just really stressful, and just, trying not to think about that on the course is a lot tougher than what people think. And I don't know, it was just like, I don't even know how to explain like those 2 weeks. It was just, honestly, I was so relieved that it was over. Because even like weeks heading into Q-Series, I was stressed, and that's all I could think about. And like there was so much pressure on myself. Again, like I don't know how many times I've said that, but it's like weeks heading into Q-Series, I was like, am I practicing enough? Am I even prepared? Because I remember like I wasn't practicing like every day too. So I was like, I'm not practicing enough. Like I'm slacking. I'm not doing enough. And then I'd practice and I'd be like hitting really bad shots. I'd play around and I'm like, I can't be, heading into Q-Series with shots like these. But then, you kind of realize that you're not always going to hit it good, and you just kind of have to play your misses, and you're really going to have to deal with whatever's handed. So that's basically how, I approached things, especially like with the weather. It was super unpredictable in Alabama. We've had like really cold days, and we had like warm days. So it's like
the fog delays. Oh my gosh.
The fog delay. And it wasn't even that cold. It was like muggy. And I was like, these are things that you can't control. So you're going to have to try and control the ones that you can't control. Basically, like your attitude and like how you approach a situation. Because like I said, everyone's dealing with the same thing. So it's not like you can do anything else about it.
Yeah. I kind of viewed it from my perspective, almost like a boxing match. I'm not a big boxing fan necessarily, but from the perspective of, I know there's like two fighters, for instance, they can go into a match. Like if it's a long match, you're waiting for one person to tire out, because you will get physically exhausted.
Yeah.
But sometimes in a match, they're a little uneven, and a fighter could overpower and end it quickly. But in golf, especially Q-Series, you can't.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just overpower. It's about you can't overpower it and win it in 2 rounds. Like you literally have to conserve enough energy to continue playing well enough through 8 rounds. So you're also in a match. It's like you are having to think about, or at least the way I was thinking is that you and the other competitors, some people want that's to feel good. They want to practice and practice and practice. But to an extent, that could possibly, and that might work for some people. And that's the cool thing about golf. Is
exactly. It's different for everyone.
But at the same time, I can't think of anyone specifically. Like I really can't. But I'm sure that someone was just a little too tired coming down the stretch because all this, because you talk about the 2 weeks of actual golf and then the weeks leading up to it, because you want to be prepared for that too. It's probably as much golf as you played in a short amount of time ever.
Yeah, even like counting the practice rounds that I played golf for like 15 days straight. I don't know what I was thinking, but no, but then when was it? I think it was when we got to Dothan. So I got there on Monday, and I think we only signed up for 2 times on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So technically Monday wasn't the official practice round. So they allowed golf carts for the practice round. So I was like, I'm going to maximize this opportunity. So I played 18 holes that day, like right after the final round of Mobile. I was like, we drove the night after, or the night of. And then I was like, I'm only going to play 18 on the day that I have a cart. So Tuesday, Wednesday, I only played 9 holes just so, I didn't have to exert so much energy. But yeah, my uncle was like, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So you just really got to conserve your energy and know where to allot, your energy in. So I can't even, like, thinking about how much we had to go through, like, mentally and physically. Like, I just felt fried after. I could also kind of tell that I was tired, like, heading into the final round. Like, I could still play, but you could just tell that, since it was the final round. I'm not saying that I let my guard down, but it was just like, you just have to play consistent, like try not to have any big numbers. But I could kind of tell, like, the first few holes, like I was a little bit, like, my swing started to feel a little bit weird. So I was like, okay, just focus and try to play your game. Literally, like, sounds so simple, but it's not. But I started the last round with 3 bogeys. Bogey, bogey, bogey. And my caddy looked at me and was just like, what are we doing? I was like, okay, I just kind of have to get back in the game. Got to get my head in the game. Like what Troy Bolton said. So I was like, I remember the first 3 holes, I didn't even talk to my caddy. I don't know if I was like stressed that it was the last round or I was just like tired. And then after the 3rd hole, after my 3rd bogey, which is like a really good bogey save, by the way, I was like, I don't know if you remember the 3rd hole. It was like the one with the water on the left side.
1, 2,
basically
3,
the only hole that lines the water.
Yes.
I pulled my tee shot in the water. So I had to take a drop. And then that day the pin was in the back left. So obviously everything on the left side slips towards the water. So my ball was above my feet. I was like, it's definitely gonna go for a draw. I'm literally gonna aim right edge of the green and let the draw, like just let it take the ball. And I didn't have enough club, so I ended up front left of the green with like a 50-foot putt for par. And I left it like 15 feet short or 10 feet short. And I made the putt. And then my caddy he was like, all right, like just loosen up a little bit. You have so much more golf to play. And obviously I was really frustrated, like who starts the round like with 3 bogeys in a row? So I was like, I gotta do something to like kind of get my senses back. So I just started talking to my caddy. Because when I talk to my caddy out on the course, I don't really like talking about golf. Like I talk about other things, food or things I see on TikTok or whatever. And literally the 4th hole, I nearly made a hole in one. I was like, okay, I guess I have to keep talking now just to calm myself down, calm those nerves. And I was able to get it back and I finished 1 under the final round. So
let's go.
I know. I was like, rally. Let's go. So it was just, oh my goodness. Like as soon as I signed my scorecard, I was just like, it's over. Like all the stress, all the pressure that you put on yourself, like just let it go. Cause it's hard, like, you know, and I'm not just going to talk about golf, but like, let's say you have like a really stressful week or like, there's an important week. So weeks leading up to it, you're already stressed. And like, for instance, for Q-Series, right after I was going to, spend the holidays with my family, it was so hard for me to look forward to the holidays, knowing that I had 2 stressful weeks to look forward to. So it was like, I couldn't really, at least I knew that I wasn't focused on anything else, but, trying to make it through Q-Series. But as soon as they signed that scorecard, I was just like, I can finally take a break. Like, I'm not gonna look at my clubs for the next 2 weeks. Like, you're staying in your bag. You're not gonna see sunlight. You're stuck in the dark. So I'm glad it's over. And I'm glad that I was able to reach my goals and, the expectations that I had for myself. So
yeah. And before we leave Q-Series, I want to talk about that semi-controversial moment. Not controversial. It's not only controversial between me and you. Not an actual controversy.
I was like, there was a controversy.
There was not a real controversy. It was just between me and you, although I didn't know at the time. But I had this photo of you where, because yes, I host podcasts, but I'm also a photographer too. So I was taking pictures at Q-Series and you were first tee and you were flexing, looking straight at me, showing off this beautiful, amazing Olympic tattoo. But you were like, right afterwards, you're like, did you take a picture of that? I was like, what do you mean did I take a picture of that? You're literally posed looking straight at me. Of course I took a picture.
Because you were talking about it on the first tee. So they were like, oh, that's a nice tattoo that you have. And I was like, oh, thank you. Like, I got it after the Olympics. So they're like, okay, see it. So I was like, and I turned around, I was like, hey, look. And then that was it. That was pretty much it. We were just talking about it because they saw it. So I was like, here, take a look. And it's weird because I have to do this to show people. Actually, I could just do this, but it's like weird. So I'm like,
hey.
Because I was getting my tattoo, I had my arm like this. So it's like, it's going to look weird.
Yeah. I mean, look, when you lead the tour in 2020 and driving distance second in 2021, you have a right to flex. It's
oh God, I guess
it's fine.
Oh dear
So
God.
to quickly go through your professional career, I want to like 2020. Okay, so you get your first, not necessarily your first LPGA event, but what moment stood out to you as like, whoa, this is the LPGA. Like this is a different level of golf. Or was there that moment?
I would say it was probably my first major. KPMG. Oh my goodness. I was so nervous. So nervous. You don't even, it was like my first major, my first year on tour, and then they didn't allow any spectators to. So like,
Like
my dad always travels with me, right? Like he watches like almost every event, and then they didn't have any spectators. So I was like, okay, well, that's fine. I thought I'd be more relaxed. I was like, okay. I shot 7 over the first round. I was so freaking stressed. I think it was like, again, the pressure of trying to play well at a major. It was just like, honestly, every time I put unnecessary pressure on myself, I think if I put pressure on myself on like something that's not really ideal, like what's the point of stressing myself out if like all I have to do is literally play golf? But I remember the first major, it just like, you just know, especially, was it Aronimink? I
yeah.
think it was Aronimink. It was such a nice course. The clubhouse was huge. The way they set it up, I was like, this is a major. This is a big tournament. And it's your first one. So I was like, this is really cool. But I think it's like the way it was set up and just like how everything looked.
Yeah.
And the way the course was set up, just in general, it was tough. So I was like, this is it. This is the real deal right here. And you shoot 7 over after your first round, but it's fine.
Hey, to be fair, it was playing pretty difficult that week. But you bounced
I
back.
bounced back.
You bounced back. And I feel like that was like the moment the golf fans, LPGA fans at large kind of really got to first see you, probably like on a big scale. 65, 65.
It was back to back bogey free rounds. Well, it's still hard to believe. I'm like, how do you shoot 7 over and then 2 bogey free rounds? But it is golf, anything can happen. That's what everyone says. Like every day is a new day. It's a new day for you to shoot under par. And it's just so funny because like right after my round, so my dad picked me up and he was waiting in the car. He's like, oh, what happened? So obviously when my dad doesn't get to watch, I have to give him a play-by-play. Who wants to relive a 7 over par round? Not me. But then he didn't really ask me like what happened. So I just said that I wasn't feeling any of my shots. Like I was hitting all these different shots. I was trying to correct it out there. And he was like, why were you thinking? Because I don't really like thinking out on the golf course. I just kind of enjoy walking up and hitting the ball, because the less I think, the better. But he was just like, well, why are you overthinking these shots? Just look at your target and hit it there. I was like, you think it's that easy? But I was like, okay, but that's like basically how my mindset is like every time. It's like just set up, look at your target, and just bring it there. And if you hit it good, then you hit it good. If you get a bad break, what can you do about it? So I was like, all right, fine. I'm not gonna overthink anything. Like I'm just gonna play my own game, hit shots, and just commit to it. I mean, sure enough, it worked the next day. And then right after my round, my dad like fell asleep in the car. So I like knock on the window. He looked at his phone. He's like, oh, you did so great today. And then he gave me a hug. I was like, yeah. And then I did it again the next round. I was like, why couldn't I do this the first round instead of making it so hard? But it was quite the experience. I got to play with Inby.
Oh my goodness. That's perfect. You segued for me because I wanted to ask, like, in your time out there so far, has there been anyone that you've just absolutely loved playing with and or look forward to playing with?
I think that like being able to play with the Inby Park was quite the highlight. I'm not gonna lie. Like everyone knows her, and she's just like, her game just all around is great. So watching her play, like she was in my group she was in the same group. So it's like watching her just like hit every fairway, hit every green, and make every putt. Like I sometimes wonder, like, how is it so easy for her? It's just ridiculous. It's like it's so fun to watch when she's playing because she makes it seem so easy. But obviously, like you do learn a lot from everyone that you play with. So just having that experience in the bag it's quite memorable. It's definitely something I won't ever forget. She's like one of the greatest golfers. So it was really an honor being able to play with her, even if I didn't really talk to her that much. Because I was like just watching. I was like, good
Well,
shot.
Like
Good putt.
I feel like whenever you go certain places, whether it's celebrities, well, you guys are celebrities, but whether you want to,
they are. Not me though.
Give yourself some credit. But I think NB is one of those, at least for me, like she carries an aura. Like there's certain people you walk and it's like, I'm walking up to the course and I see in the distance, like putting green, there's NB and it's like, feels like there's like this radiating, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's like suddenly the rays coming out from the sides and it's like, oh, NB.
Yes, and it's incredible. And also, I just wonder, like from your perspective, actually playing with NB, being a power player, I think I would consider you power player, and then watching NB play, which I would not consider her a power player. Does that ever get frustrating on your end? Like I hit it like 60 yards past you with my tee shot, but then you make it like every putt, and so then
it's a humbling experience. Like, but I mean, obviously, like you then realize that like obviously distance isn't everything,
right?
And it really all boils down to short game and putting. Whoever makes the most or the least, whoever makes the most putts. That just sounded so bad. Oh my goodness. But if you make more putts, it's like that's the only way you'll really play better. So it was, yeah, like I said, it was a learning experience, and just obviously it took some time to like reflect on my own game, again, assess the things that I have to work on heading into like the next event or in the weeks to come. But yeah, distance isn't everything, but it is an advantage at times. I just have to learn how to maximize all that and kind of make things work together.
Yeah, speaking of, like last year, I know the tour somewhat experimented with Beth Ann Nichols with Golf Week had a great, I think it was a great article about like distance and setup, whether you agree with it or disagree with it, whatever, about essentially the gist of it was setting up an opportunity for the LPGA players to have more birdies, which included like moving some tees up and stuff. Is that something that you noticed in some of the events that you played last year? Like some holes that, so I think a veteran player that's played a lot of years, they would like, oh, well, this hole usually plays at this distance. They might notice it more. But is that something that you noticed at all?
I don't think I did notice, or maybe I just wasn't really paying attention. But I mean, obviously, the practice rounds, like you try to hit from every tee shot, and then obviously in the tournaments, you kind of pay attention to which tee boxes they used, and like sometimes they did use the forward tees. But I mean, I kind of get their point though. I mean, if you notice, like especially like on the, let's say like on the PGA Tour, people enjoy watching them play because they get on on par fives, they get there on two with like irons, and obviously like as someone watching, that's really cool to watch. It's cool to see him like, wow, he's only using an iron to the green. I mean, it's entertaining for people, but then you come out on our tour and they set up the par fives, and like people, it's not really reachable for everyone. It's like you have people who lay up or like trying to head in the greens on two. I mean, it's like if you want to raise ratings, you kind of want to make it a little bit more interesting and entertaining. I feel like I'm trying to view it from that aspect. But I mean, it's it is what it is, and
Yeah.
they're just gonna do whatever they think is best for the players, I guess. But I mean, I haven't really seen or at least noticed a whole lot of differences in terms of like the distance that we played. I mean, I've only played for like this 2 years. This being my third.
2 rookie seasons.
Yeah, 2 rookie seasons. So
looking forward to this year, like what are you looking forward to the most?
I think I'm just really pumped at the fact that I get to play more events. I think it was really stressful, like, with the conditional status, having to play so many Monday qualifiers, you travel to play a Monday and then without any guarantee that you're going to get in or not.
Right.
But yeah, I think I'm just really excited at the fact that I'll be playing more events this year. At least there's going to be less, I guess you can say, like, less pressure to, kind of to play well, because with the limited number of events that you need to play, like obviously you need good performance to help your status and all, but at least I'm given more opportunities to play well, so that's like one thing I'm really looking forward to this year.
Yeah, I would say, as you talk about stress, I
think that's probably a lot. It's
a little
in my vocabulary.
a little maybe hopefully a little less stress, because you're right, like I can't imagine and not a lot of people understand that either. Like you can go into an event, especially like the conditional status, you can go to an event either in the field, but if you're not in the field, you can be like alternate, you can be like first, second, third, or and there's a certain, like, do you show up and like how far down on that alternate list do you show up and like hope 5 people would draw? Like probably not. And all the expenses that come with that, it's like you have to make that trip and essentially plan on being there for a week, and then Monday qualify. Like it is a lot of stuff. So getting that full status is like game changer.
Yeah, because I remember when was it? I mean, there were times like in the past 2 years where I was first alternate and I had to wait. Like I remember there's one tournament I was first alternate and I waited at the golf course and like no one withdrew. Good thing though it was in New Jersey, because we have family in Jersey. I mean, it was in Atlantic City, but I mean it was like a 2-hour drive to like where my family was.
Right.
So I mean, at least it wasn't. If I didn't make it, I could have spent time with my family. But then there was one event that I was like 10th alternate, or like I was way down there, and then for some reason like so many people withdrew that like I got an email on Sunday saying that I got in the field. I was like, holy cow, like we need to book a flight like right now. So we left the next day, and then I remember signing up for tee times, and obviously with me being the last person in the field, I had like pretty bad tee times, and I was like, I'm trying to see the golf course. So the only 2 tee times that I got were like 2:00 and 4:00. I was like, we're playing 18 holes. I don't care how dark it gets.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I'm really hoping for less of those and more of just sure entries in the field.
You got it. Any goals for this year?
To play well enough to retain my status, to keep my status. But on the serious note, I guess like top 10 finishes. I'm really eyeing that. I mean, gotta speak it into existence. I mean, I'm gonna speak some into existence, but some I'm just gonna tell myself that. But obviously, like I want top 10 finishes. I just want to be able to play well enough really to keep my status. I mean, I wanna win a tournament, regular or a major. That would be great. So yeah,
Yes.
there's those. There are those. I have those. There you go. Just so I don't have to think about my grammar. But yeah.
Those are wonderful goals.
It's like I have a lot of goals that I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna keep them to myself because I'm too shy to tell people. You know what I mean? I write it down. I'm like, okay, these are my goals. These are the ones I can share with people, and these are the ones that I just
Yeah. No, I get that. And I think that's good. Is it Justin Thomas maybe? Let's see someone that like writes out their goals and then at the end of the year they shared, I think it was him, like shared.
Yeah, I think that's Justin Thomas. Like he writes it on his notes app and then he just like Yeah.
which
I
ones
think I know.
he accomplished and which
Yeah.
ones he didn't. Yeah, maybe. But you don't have. You can keep them to yourself. It's fine. No pressure.
I can write it down. It's different. Like I like writing things down. I can't do it on my phone.
You could do
It's
it
just
in
different.
calligraphy.
Calligraphy. Make it artsy.
Make it artsy.
Oh God. Sure.
Okay, so to finish this up, by the way, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk. It's been so much fun. Just a few like quicker questions, not necessarily golf related, might be golf related. So, First question, other than golf and calligraphy, or it could be calligraphy, do you have any hobbies?
Oh God. You just made me realize that I don't have a personality or anything interesting. Call of Duty on my phone. I'm still trying to. I've been debating for like the past couple months if I should get a gaming laptop so I can play
Ooh.
Modern Warfare or whatever. But I'm like,
Are you ranked? Are you globally ranked?
No. On COD Mobile, it's just so convenient. It's just on my phone.
Yeah.
I do have my controller. There's a controller too. Yeah.
Of course. That's not embarrassing. Yeah. That's not embarrassing. You know what? There's like a good number of LPGA players that play like these mobile games. What's the other one? I can't think of the name right now. But I know there's another mobile one that you can play in teams and
Interesting. So yeah, I really want to get a gaming laptop so I can play, but then I'm worried that I might spend more time playing on my laptop than actually practicing. So it's like we'll see.
Maybe just give a few months of the season. See how things are going.
It's been 2 years, by the way. So yeah.
Okay. At karaoke night, what song are you singing?
That's so funny because at Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, that's all my family did. We just sang karaoke. Okay, but growing up, I had 2 different like songs. So growing up, my late grandfather would always make me sing Dancing Queen. Always. Even if I can't reach the high notes, I had to sing it. It's like, all right, Bianca's gonna sing Dancing Queen. And I'm like,
oh, he just announced it. It's like, you had no choice.
No, seriously. So I'm like in the corner with a microphone. I'm like, yay. Like, you can dance, you can shout. See, I memorized the song. But honestly, like, I don't really have a specific karaoke song. I think now I would probably lean towards a song that I can actually sing and hit the notes just so it's not like completely embarrassing. I would say probably like Sunday Morning by Maroon 5. I don't know.
Okay. So you're talking about hitting notes. You can actually sing then.
No, I can't.
We're gonna get an album from Bianca too?
Maybe in the next year. I'm kidding.
Heard it here.
No, never in a million years. Or maybe I'd sing to Olivia Rodrigo or Taylor Swift. I'd probably sing the 10-minute version of Taylor Swift all too well. I memorized it. 10 minutes and 3 seconds.
So you have this mixture of shyness / getting embarrassed, but also this, I want to be the star.
I mean, I sing in the shower, so.
You take the 10-minute.
I can sing the 10-minute version. Like
amazing. Do you have a nickname?
B?
B,
people call me. My sister calls me B, really.
What about this name I saw floating around, like unicorn or something?
It's my pillow pet is just staring at me right there. A unicorn pillow pet. I don't know. I just have this fascination with unicorns just because they're so cute. And then for some reason, my coach was like, "Oh my God, you could be a unicorn because you're so magical." I'm like, what can I say? I'm kidding. But they didn't really call me that, but I was associated with unicorns, but they never really called me that.
Okay.
Yeah, the association is there.
So just B is the main one.
I guess so, yeah. B. I have like so many other nicknames that my family has given me. I have probably like 10 that we're not gonna say because they're embarrassing. So
more embarrassing things. Oh man. Okay, this one might be a little trickier, maybe not. But if you had the opportunity to have 4 dinner guests, dead or alive, who would join you?
4 dinner guests?
Yes.
Ooh. Dang, this could be anyone. Okay. I miss my grandpa, my late grandfather. I would want him to be there just because, when did he pass away? Like, I think a little over 10 years ago. And I would really want to talk to him about like everything that's happened in my life so far. And he was a huge fan of basketball. So I think if he knew that I went to like 2 really good basketball schools,
Yeah.
like he'd be pretty pumped. So there's him. This is embarrassing. Okay, I want to pick Tiger Woods' brain, obviously. I've always been a Tiger fan. Come on, only 4?
If you want to expand it to 5 or 6, I will not allow you. It's 4. I'm just kidding. You want to go to 5? 6? How many do you need? You need a big table.
Oh my yeah. Oh my grandpa, Tiger Woods. I'm too embarrassed to say other people.
You can say it. You can say it.
Tom Holland. Pew pew pew. But okay, yes. I have one more. Oh god, and now this is the hardest because like it all boils down to, okay, I was thinking like a member of BTS or a member of One Direction. But then I want, let's see. God, I know. Well, technically, am I not going to be the 4th person on the table?
You want to get super technical.
No. Okay, so these are like these people aren't just gonna. So it's my grandpa, Tiger, Tom Holland. Why'd you give me such a hard question? Maybe I'm trying to think.
Hard, but it's a fun question though.
I need one more person.
What about one of your singers?
Or one of the F1 drivers.
Oh.
No. I'm just gonna have to go with. I feel like I need to have another athlete in there, but we're just gonna go with Harry Styles.
Okay. No embarrassment level there. That's incredible.
I feel like people are expecting more substance in that answer, but I've always been a One Direction fan, and I missed their concert in the Philippines because it was on the day of my high school graduation.
Oh, that is too bad. You should have.
That was their first concert without Zayn too.
They could have performed for your graduation.
Exactly.
That'd have been amazing. Okay, quick rapid fire questions, and then we will. Yeah, these are even faster.
Very indecisive. Okay.
Early golf or twilight golf?
Come on. Twilight. I like sunsets.
Oh, okay. Coffee or tea?
Coffee. I do like boba though. That's milk tea. Coffee. Coffee.
I think boba might be like on a separate. It is, but like I know what you mean. Tea. Milk tea. Yeah. You could have any superpower. What would it be?
I want to read people's minds. Or fly. The way you just looked at me. What?
No, like
I want to be a mind reader or fly.
Okay.
I'm afraid of heights though.
But if you had the ability to fly, I feel like that fear might disappear.
I'd fly, definitely.
Breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
Breakfast.
What's your favorite?
I love breakfast, but I would never wake up early enough for breakfast. That's why I have it for dinner.
Love that too. Breakfast is good. Breakfast food's good at any time.
I love breakfast. Honestly, it's Filipino breakfast. I just had that for breakfast.
Yeah, I saw that picture on Instagram. It looks so
I'm
good.
Hungry again.
And 2 hole-in-ones in 1 round, or have the course record.
Course record. That way you could probably have 2 hole-in-ones in your round.
That's a very good point.
Ding, 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 ding.
Look at you. That's the
There's
best
something
answer.
in there.
There's a lot. There's a lot. That's probably the best answer I've ever had on that question.
Thank
I
you.
like it. Well,
Because I've already
Bianca,
shot the course record at one place and I had a hole in one. So
in the course during your course record round,
yeah, I
what?
shot like 61 and I had a hole in one.
You said I shot like 61. You know, I love talking to professional golfers. Just like, I don't know how many hole in ones I have anymore. I stopped keeping track at like 10. You know, after that, it's
I've only had 3, so
only 3.
yeah. I had one at Nationals the year that we won.
That is incredible.
I totally forgot about it though, because of the Eagle putt.
It's just so convenient to forget about hole-in-ones at the national championship.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, you are an incredible golfer. You have done so many great things that you can't even remember them all.
Oh my gosh.
Bianca, I really appreciate you taking some time to talk. Being the first guest of season 2.
Thank you.
You are the best. Where can people follow you? Like social media? What's
Instagram?
Instagram?
Bianca Pagda. Yes.
All right. I will add your information at the end of this video.
TikTok.
But
I'm kidding. No.
TikTok? Oh. You said stick to Instagram. Okay.
Yeah, y'all can follow me. I don't really care, but it's all for fun. Shameless plug.
Shameless plugs. You're low key want to become a TikTok star too.
I'm trying to be famous. I'm kidding. I can't. No.
Bianca, thank you so much. And best of luck this year. I will see you soon.
Yay.